Joining me now is an opinion contributor, and former House Republican Investigative Committee counsel, Sophia Nelson, and white-collar federal criminal defense attorney, Rebecca LeGrand, who never overcomplicate anything. So I'm so glad the two of you are here right now. First of all, guys, this is a decisive issue. They did not specify enough. This is coming on the long line of other matters in disqualification. What's your reaction that this is actually happening now?
Yeah, I think Judge McAfee's order today was actually thoughtful, just showed a good judge doing his work. He showed that he takes the defendants' rights seriously, that he takes their arguments seriously, and he takes the law seriously. But this was not a big win for the defendants, nor was it an embarrassing mistake, in my opinion, for the prosecutors. This happens, and the judge was pretty clear about that. There are plenty of facts in this indictment, plenty to support the RICO charge, which is the biggest charge there. But for the specific solicitation of violating an oath charge, the judge said, look, I've looked at this, and even under federal law, you could fix this with a much more easy step. Under Georgia law, I think you need to add more specifics here. So those counts for now are gone. But it's only 6 counts, and there are multiple ways that those can be brought back if they matter.
They could cure it. But the issue, of course, and many look at this issue about disqualification, Sophia, as a way to try to undermine the credibility of the prosecution team, whether it's about competency or conflicts of interest. Is this part of that?
Respectfully, they undermined their own credibility. And I'm talking about Fani, Willis, and her team, and I'm a fan of hers. I thought that it was incredibly brave of her to do what she did to bring these charges. But I have been stunned, Laura, at the lack of awareness that you were going after Donald Trump, and he plays by a different set of rules. And if you thought they weren't going to check into your life and dig around and make this messy, they were naive. And I think the judge, to your point, was very careful and meticulous. I watched the trial. The judge is a very thoughtful, methodical guy. He knows the stakes here. I don't think he's going to disqualify her. I will be shocked if he does it, because I don't think the defense met their burden of proof. And I think he's giving you a window by saying, I don't like messy stuff. Yeah, you can get a do-over here, audience. She can actually just bring the indictment again, correct? If she's still there, they can refile those 6 counts, is my point. But I think the bigger issue is the judge is giving you kind of some insight into, I don't like mess, I like it clean. If you're gonna make an allegation, back it up. Tell me how it's rooted in law, and I think that's going to also apply to the charges that the defendants brought, that she is somehow has a conflict.
Well, what I saw, what I'm looking for in particular, Rebecca, is it an actual conflict or the appearance? Now, we all know as lawyers, you're governed by that hint of impropriety. A judge often has to recuse based on the hint of impropriety, meaning maybe doesn't pass the smell test. I don't care if it really is rotten. But when it comes to this, it didn't seem to be so clear in the case law that it was either an appearance or it was both and or either or. Is it possible, though, he could actually disqualify based on the appearance of this?
The law says...
I think we're going to say the same. I don't think so.
No, the law says it has to be an actual conflict. It can't just be the appearance. That's Georgia, so I don't know if there's a federal statute that's a companion.
It wouldn't apply here anyway, but that's correct. There has to be an actual conflict here, and there's a reason for that. We've gone pretty far down the road here. This has to be an actual conflict that actually matters. So obviously, yes, the defendants were going to go fishing for whatever they could find, and they found something here. But did they find something that in any way undermines the defendant's rights to a fair trial? And I don't think they did.
Or ability to even get a fair trial, right?
No.
I don't
think they did, and I think the judge is going to, we don't know.
It was like Peyton Place at best. It was like a soap opera. I mean,
Peyton Place.
I'm old. What do you want me to say? Peyton Place.
I go frolic and detour.
At the end, it was like, hey, something at the end, right? You always said something. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, well, I'm not going to date myself either. That's fine.
You're a baby.
I'm still remembering when Bobby Ewing turned around the shower, and I was like, you died. You died. Okay, never mind.
Prosecutors in the 80s, look, LA law, lawyers are allowed to have relationships with each other. That's not fundamentally,
Well, with LA law as a standard, shout out to Blair Underwood. I'm saying that right now.
Still looks good.
In all, this could go a very different path. I'm here for this rabbit hole any day of the week. But let me just focus for a second on the credibility factor here, because you mentioned this, and I think we all know that the real elephant in the room, of course, is the prospect of the credibility issue, right? Whether they were honest on the stand, whether they were honest in their testimony, not because they necessarily didn't meet their burden, which I think they failed and came short of that, but how a jury pool might view it.
Yeah, we talked about that on our way, and I think the problem is the taint to any. It just takes one to say, This lady and her whole crew, look, they couldn't even bring the right charges on 6 of these counts. They were sleeping around, taking trips, sharing cash. It's a mess.
I am not that worried about the jury here, though. I got to tell you, because first of all, these are issues that the jury's not supposed to consider. And as a defense attorney, I don't really necessarily believe that, but they'll be instructed that none of this matters.
You're right.
And the courts assume that jurors will follow that instruction. And moreover,
I don't have that much faith in human beings anymore.
well,
So we'll
look, I'm with
see.
you on that, but it's a juror of people from Atlanta who elected DA Willis and who I think are gonna hear a lot of evidence about what the defendants did. And I think that will be the focus when the trial happens. It's not going to be about DA Willis, who won't even be trying the case.
We'll know in probably a couple days. I would imagine it's, soon where he tells us.
Well, no, we're supposed to know before
Friday. I think
by
we will.
Friday,
Yeah,
right?
so-
That's why I'm like tick-tock. I mean, I'm nosy, but also a lot's on the line for all of this. And speaking of being, of course, elected, thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Rebecca, so much.